Hey guys, Josh and Chris here with the Brothers Boyd, and today we have joining us Darryl Murphy with his creator comic Revagen, which we actually just read. Josh read it today. I read it this week, and it's a really great read, and we can't wait to talk to Darryl about it. Uh, so tell us a little bit now, Darryl. You have been working for other comic companies as well. Now, have you worked for the big three or any of the big three?
Well, now I am, but it's also it's conjunction with Upper Deck Entertainment. So all I can say now is that I'm allowed to say is that I'm working on a Marvel project.
Awesome.
Awesome.
So,
Oh, that's awesome. We're excited. With the upper deck, it sounds like me. We're going to be doing cards, and I've I've seen your artwork. We follow you on Instagram, and you do really great artwork. And so,
yeah.
I kind of like the first question I really want to ask you is, um, kind of when did you start drawing, and what was your first character you ever created?
Well, I started drawing. Geez, I think I picked up a crayon. I was like four or five, but it was when I turned. I was like 11 or 12. And the first character, what was my first character? First character, ah, Incredible Hulk. That's my first character because I picked up it was one of the Red Hulk books from back then, and I was really heavy into Dragon Ball Z, and I started learning how to draw all of the characters from Dragon Ball Z. And after I've learned how to draw Dragon Ball Z, told myself, well, okay, I guess this is how the body works and the facial features. Didn't really know the difference between anime and then regular cartoons at the time. But that's what I was training myself to do. But yeah, it was the Hulk and Goku, Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z.
Nice. Nice. If you had a chance to work on any of those, which would you pick?
Ooh, that's a that's a good question. That's a good question. But I would pick Incredible Hulk because it was my first character, and the artist that um colored that piece was Jason Keith.
Nice.
Um, Me and Jason Keith, we have a relationship now, and we're always talking and talking about art. He helps me get better. He's kind of under his wing. It's amazing because that's something that I you know grew up trying to figure out how to draw, and then being able to meet the artist behind it and have an actual connection with him is a really great thing to me.
It's awesome to see that and to see your dream, man, from when you were 11 or 12. That's
Yeah,
like I teach sixth graders, so that's right around that age.
yeah,
And it's a good thing to see. You went from that sixth grade drawing to become an artist of a comic and getting to meet your hero who you
yeah,
know grew up watching and getting to know, and that's a really cool thing. Um,
yeah.
if you had a like your creator owned universe, Revagen, is that your first creator owned book, or do you have
Yes. That was my first one. Um, I created the book when I was about 14, but of course, I really didn't know too much about comics. I was still learning from the Shonen Jump books that were out back then. I was getting Marvel books, started getting Spider-Man books, and I was like, I wanted to make my own comic book. Um, got inspiration from some cartoon shows, and I just started to create one. But when I was in high school, I had at least four issues already created. Um, I ended up moving and I lost the books, but there was another one that it's also a manga. It's called Dragon Rye. So it's a dragon, but he's a samurai. That was one that I also created when I was younger as well. And I'm going to. It's also a book that I'm going to um, recreate.
awesome, Awesome. That should be an interesting read. Well, I'm looking at the cover right now on my tablet, and I feel like I'm looking at the same person on the cover as I'm looking at on the screen.
I-
Red is a little bit of you, I believe.
oh yes, yes. Red is my nickname. That's my other side. That's the hidden side. So um yeah, I've been through a lot in life, and my like when you read about Red, and you'll see like, oh, this character has a temper. That's how I used to be, but I turned over a new leaf years ago, and I wanted to I wanted to see how I could make something of a character, kind of like he's a villain, but he's not, and he has to go through things that I went through in my life, like anxiety, depression, and actually battle these things and figure out who he really is, figure out why he exists. And it took a while for me to get this all to put together, but when I finally did, I was telling myself, maybe you should turn all of the things that you've dealt with into actual enemies. So that's what I'm doing in this book. Like, darkness is the main villain, and I've dealt with a lot of darkness throughout the years, and trying to shed light on it, to let people know, like, you don't have to deal with that. You can actually battle that, and it's a way to get around things. That's
Awesome.
what this character deals with, and he's considered one of the powerful enemies. No, sorry, one of the powerful beings in the multiverse.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. So, um, you obviously you've been a comic book fan your whole life, kind of like we are. Right now with the comics, we're finding like the independent comics seems to be the ones where we're leaning more to, and we're getting the better stories. As far as thinking back, when do you feel like some of the best comics were written? I'm sorry. Um, what decade do you think probably some of the best ones were put out?
I would say around 2010, 2011, around that time. Um, and that's a good question too, because there's like, even now, there's a book called Flawed, written by Chuck Brown. It's very well written. I absolutely love it. Um, I feel like that is kind of a dilemma between the two, but yeah, that's a tough question. But
Yeah,
it's
Florida is an amazing book.
yeah. Yeah, I love it. But there are others. There, especially dealing with Spider-Man. But it's like, I feel as if some like now some of the stories that I read are almost repetitive, and I try to search for something new, something different.
Yeah, it's interesting how, to some of the bigger companies are going back into the well, and they're telling the same story over again with a new character.
Yeah, exactly. And it's I see it a lot. Um,
They're taking cues from Hollywood because everything is a remake now in movies. So why not do it
oh
with
goodness.
comics? You
No
know,
call outs, but uh uh Miles Morales Clone Saga all over again. Why are we doing that? We did that with Peter Parker. We don't need to bring.
Yeah, yeah. It's hopefully, because I seen a post about, like, some of the writers for the movies. They were saying, like, we really have no knowledge about the comics, and it shows. But people are slowly leaving. Their interest is leaving Marvel and in DC as well. And I feel like we need something that's going to grab everybody's attention again. Maybe the Deadpool and Wolverine movie may grab our attention. You know,
Right, right. And I also just heard this week Amazon is going to release 8 Billion Genies as a TV series. They've landed on their creative crew, so that's going to be definitely a cool thing to see because that's creator owned and just going to be a really
like
cool way to see something different. So,
okay,
what would you say is the worst thing about creating comics?
I would say the worst thing, like I is having the time. So I know we all have families and things. Some artists struggle with having good time management when it comes down to creating comics and being able to get a good amount of rest. So all of that it ties together when it's time for you to create. Because of course we have to write the story, and then after writing we have to, well, excuse me, brainstorm, then write the story. Then of course comes the rough drafts. But if you don't have a good amount of sleep, if you're trying to rush things because you don't have enough time to do things, then when you get to the final product, it's not going to be what you want. Um, I feel like some people feel pressured, depending on who they work for different companies. They may feel pressured for time, and they may not produce great work because of that time they're allotted. But that's how the industry is now. Hopefully, one day it can change. But as far as production goes, these big companies, they want to get those books out there. So they're going to be on you. They're going to make sure that you're turning in pages. Like if you, like David Finch said in one of his videos on YouTube, like there were times where he was late, but he had to make up for the work. So if you're late, can't make a deadline, it's good to keep in good communication with your editor. Um, Sometimes they may work with you. Sometimes they'll choose another artist, but that's just the way things work in this industry. So I try to tell other artists that, try to teach them things that I've learned along the way, because the most important thing to me is actually listening when it comes down to receiving criticism from someone who's been out there going to Comic Cons and networking, because I'm here to help other artists and not tear them down. I'm try to, not sugarcoat anything. Because you're going to meet people like Brian Stelfreeze, for example. Brian Stelfreeze can read you like a book. He can read your artwork like a book. He can tell you what you have to work on. If you can't listen, then your feelings going to be hurt. So, uh, back to what I was saying about the rest, it's really important to have enough sleep so that you can be able to make great work and just do the best that you can do.
Awesome.
And I know you lingered into the talking about Comic Cons there. How important do you feel Comic Cons are to the industry itself and to independent creators?
I feel like Comic Cons are very vital to artists and to anybody that loves the environment and the atmosphere. I feel like Comic Cons give people a time and reason to escape from reality just for a few days, to dress up as their favorite character and meet other people, just have a great time and to meet their favorite artists behind their favorite stories. For as far as artists go, I feel like Comic Con is it's a very important thing for an artist to attend and to table at, so the artist can get that good that good feeling of being in the industry, being around other people who are doing the same things that they're doing, and that can guide them the right way in order to help them succeed and get to where they want to be. So Comic Cons really helped me out. My first Comic Con was in Chicago, and I went to the C2E2 event, and that's when I got and connect with the Hero Initiative. When I met the Hero Initiative, they liked my work ethic, my character, and personality, and they got me in contact with director of the Hero Initiative, the president of the Hero Initiative, and then he got me in contact with Kevin Eastman. That's how I got my start on the Ninja Turtles. Things like that can happen when you go to Comic Cons as an artist. Networking is very powerful.
I agree. The
So,
connections we've made at Comic Cons have been great. Getting to meet and talk to people like you, Darryl, is always a good time. And,
Oh
and
yeah,
it helps us learn. We've grown in the last 2 years doing this. So it's an
nice.
amazing thing. Let's roll over to your comic and talk about it a little bit. Um,
Okay,
tell us about the storyline.
okay. The story is about a demigod. He wakes up in space, doesn't know who he is. He goes on a journey to find out who he really is and why he's been working for darkness the entire time. So darkness is an actual evil entity in this story. So you have Revagen is Revelation in Genesis. I just switched the words around and I mashed them together. And some people ask me, like, is this a Bible? It's a Bible book? Like, it's not exactly a Bible book, but you will get some depictions of the Bible in this story. Um, this story goes from Genesis. I let you know about things that happen in the beginning, um, also things that happen in the end. It has aliens in this story. The character Red, he's just trying to figure out why he existed, why he's been brainwashed so many times. In issue 2, the story's going to continue. He's going to start meeting other people. He's going to figure out why he's in the position that he's in because his memories are going to be restored. So this story is like if you like Silver Surfer, um, X-Men, if you like Star Wars, you'll love this story. Blade, you'll love this story. He has an
look,
attitude.
if you love comics, you'll love this story because I mean it's a great comic all the way around. Uh,
Appreciate it. Revagen is started out fresh. This is the second sellout from Revagen. I just put copies at the Dragon's Lair, and there's one copy left. So I have to restock. So this is something that I'm pushing really hard now. It's something that I was scared to push out before, but I've learned that lesson from being scared to push things out. But now that have done it, now see the kind of results that I'm getting. Um, I love making people happy. Love make when they read my stories and they like things that I write.
and see what it looks like, and we look forward to it. And we thank you so much, Darryl, for being with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome.